think about Paraag? I mean, where's Paraag? If we ask the exact same question about Paraag, where do you weigh in on Paraag?
To me, what happens in this organization is John and Kyle come to Jed and Paraag and say, Jed, guys, we need a corner. Jed says, okay, Paraag, what's the budget? Paraag goes, what you can spend this much. And it's not about, that's it. So he's making football decisions. He's laying out the budget. And whatever budget he lays out, JC Jackson doesn't fit that. It's got to be backloaded. It's got to be structured a certain way. It's got to protect the team. So you can get, the best guy you can get is Travarius Ward. Okay, great. And that's just the tip of the iceberg with Paraag. If you read his entry on Niners.com, they say he's in charge of football analytics in the organization. So he's making football decisions. He'll say, maybe we don't need to pay for interceptions in the secondary. I think that's one of his things. They never target guys who have speed and ball skills because it's expensive. So they go after guys who, are big and strong and have length and speed and are good in man-to-man coverage like Travarius Ward, and they're a little bit cheaper. I mean, these are football decisions that he makes. He's a bean counter. I'm sorry. I don't think the Niners need this guy anymore. I don't think Eddie would have ever put up with someone like Paraag making football decisions, but that's a symptom of Jed's vision for the team. I think Paraag does his job exactly the way the Yorks want him to, but I think it's counterproductive when the goal is winning an actual Super Bowl.
I think in some ways Paraag in this regime, I mean, Harbaugh had no use for Paraag. I think that was
credit.
Clear. Yeah, I think credit. He didn't want Paraag hanging around. I remember Ralph.
He had to do football.
I remember Ralph before Ralph passed used to be totally offended that Paraag was even in the booth. What's he doing in there? I'll say this:
crossing the line.
I think Paraag is really good at engineering draft day trades and looking for value. And I think in a lot of ways he's taken John McVay's role of being the draft day trader and canvassing the league. I think that's what he's best at. But as far as analytics, football decisions, that kind of thing, though John McVay, if he were still around, would still be doing those kinds of things. I don't think Paraag, I think that's not his purview. I don't think that's where his strength lies. And I think maybe in some ways they ought to scale his role back.
Yeah, I think
capologist, front office guy, but not the tip of the spear. He shouldn't be the guy in any way that is leading any part of your football organization. That's how I see it.
And they say he's leading football analytics. That to me is scary. That means he's making football decisions. Like, you say you need a corner, and Paraag says what you can spend and who you can essentially get and the traits that you're allowed to want. To me, that's scary. And I think, again, Eddie would never let this happen. And
it doesn't seem like Eddie. I mean, it's hard to say, but Eddie had his own, I'm sure, people in his ear, but he didn't give him control over football, right? It was Walsh, it was McVay. Paraag is not a football guy, and yet I think he has some say in a number of different ways on the game itself. And I agree. That shouldn't be where he shines.